Hey everyone, we are here for another episode of Help Talk. How is everyone today? We've got Phil in the house. Hey Phil, how are you?
Outstanding.
Of course you are, right? I mean, that's just the thing. That's what you got to really love about Phil. It's just he's all, all in, always happy, always just everything's outstanding. Everything's fabulous. Even when you're having a really dark day, call Phil and say, I'm having a not so good day, and he'll make your day better, right?
Yeah, I think I came up with something. Stay positive.
Well, but that's just it. I mean, I try to do that too as a, almost 2 decade cancer survivor, right? I mean, that's pretty impressive. And I like touch wood every single day for that. What I also do is I think a key reason why all of this has happened is that because I do stay positive, I embrace positivity. In this dark world, what else are you going to do?
Yes, go opposite of the dark world.
Right. Opposite of the darkness, right? Bring the light in, let it shine. Woo. And I know I'm shining. It's hot and I, exercised a bit earlier and like, whoo, there we go.
It's a good thing we're supposed to sleep during the nighttime.
Yeah. What's that sleep thing, right? It's overrated. No, anyone listening, you need a good 8 hours of sleep. That's how this is supposed to go. That's absolutely what you need. All right. Well, we're going to jump into today's topic. So for those of you that know us, we are the co-founders of Helpopedia, and this is the weekly episode of Help Talk, where we get into various topics and we bring in experts here and there and different Helpopedia community partners to share their stories with us and their expertise. And we largely focus on youth development and community development. And today's topic is
innovative homeschooling.
Ooh, so you had me at innovative, right? To quote a famous movie line. As a recognized innovator and longtime fan of it, I remember even decades ago when Henry Chesborough, famous, oh my goodness, was he UC Berkeley or Stanford? I know I should get those right, but a California excellent school. And he came out with the concept of open innovation and how you go out and you look for other sources to inform what you're doing and getting that guidance and inspiration from somewhere else instead of tapping your own team with it. And I remember going to dinner with him one day. There was some big, innovation event. I thought, innovation's the way to go. So I'm excited about today's topic, innovative homeschool. Phil, set us up.
Excellent. So back in the days, if you heard homeschool, there is definitely a stigma with homeschool. So the assumptions are you're at home with mom, perhaps dad, who 5 days a week is teaching you a variety of different lessons that may correspond with the academic curriculum that is taught in school. And so this is a big effort that a parent would make to ensure that their loved one is properly educated in the world of academics without having the just letting the school district or the school systems educate them. So they're taking ownership of that responsibility to educate their kids as best as they can. And so this, from a student perspective and from a parent perspective, is a big, tall task to do, and also maybe limiting what the parent is going to offer, and limiting for opportunities for the student to engage and socialize with classmates. So that's probably the current definition of most people's in their mind when they hear homeschooling. However, the world has changed. And the world has changed for opportunities for parents to, instead of assume all that responsibility, to utilize technology and others who are interested in not letting their kids be controlled and or left to their own demise and very little, right? There's no control when you're a parent, when you're sending your kids to school. You are assuming a lot. You're putting the trust and education in teachers, and you're hoping that they're all doing a great job. But the people who are homeschooling know the real deal. And they know that there's technology available. And what's really cool, because we are in a social media kind of setting, the opportunities are actually unlimited for what a parent can do in the world of homeschooling. And so if you find other moms, if you find other dads, if you find educators, if you find a variety of different experts, they can actually teach your student some extraordinary things. And you and your son or daughter can be in control of the learning objectives of what they want to accomplish. And it's unlimited. And even if you can't commit to this big effort, consider this. What if you considered a homeschooling model during the summer? What if you considered a homeschooling model on a weekend? What if you considered a homeschooling model after school? And it doesn't have to be as big as school itself. It could be as small, it could be weekly, it could be monthly. But guess what? This is your opportunity as a parent. Take control and lead your loved one into the world of knowledge and education that they may not otherwise get if they go through the motions of public school or private school. And so the innovative concept is the unknown territory that parents don't know about, all the great things that are happening in the world of homeschooling.
All
And
right.
go ahead.
I'm going to jump in. We're going to break it down because you introduced, I don't know, 15 different concepts in there. So let's break it down, right? That's what I do. We're going to break it down. So the first thing I think, which is really important, is if I put on my friction lens, which I wear often in looking at problems to try to solution for them, is the typical parent is probably going to be overwhelmed with the idea of homeschool my kid or kiddos. That sounds like a big commitment. So what you've offered as a solution, and what solutions are out there, is small bites, right? You don't have to boil the ocean and say, I am going to commit to homeschooling my child for all the way through from kindergarten through grade 12, right? You don't have to bite off that big of a commitment. Try it for a weekend. Try it for 1 week, every day after school for a 15-minute lesson, right?
Absolutely.
So that's one way to overcome some of the friction, a baby bite. The next thing that you introduced as a concept is really along the lines of, where do you start? How do you put all of this stuff together? What do you think? And I think there's some real room for discussion here. The number one tip I would suggest is use a generative AI tool. We've all heard about ChatGPT, Perplexity AI, and insert 20 other different flavors. And start there and say, because you've committed to a weekend, 2 lessons, or 5 15-minute lessons after school, ask your favorite generative AI bot to say, create 5 15-minute lessons appropriate for a child that is, insert whatever the age your kiddo is, and focus on, now you got to introduce some topics, right? So maybe you got to rewind it and ask generative AI and say, if you had to create 5 bite-sized 15-minute lessons for a child that is, let's say, 13, what are the 5 topics that you suggest my child should learn? Start with the 5 topics. Then ask the generative AI tool to say, okay, now create those 15-minute lessons, those 5 lessons. Give me learning objectives, give me an exercise to do to reinforce the lesson, and give me some general content and talking points. Okay, so I got step 1. Phil, guess what you have?
Step 2. So that is a powerful suggestion. And there's definitely other steps you can take. Is you can do a little research and or contact Helpopedia and identify the opportunities from a parent schooling perspective. Is reaching out to social media in parent groups that already do this for homeschooling. So if you just do a search on homeschooling, you will get a wealth of information, and you can tag those people who are leading that effort, and you can definitely go virtual with joining in the classes that they've already set up for their own kids. And so this can absolutely be leveraged, and you could see the opportunities that they have. And what's really cool is you get to pick the teacher. You get to pick the educator. You get to pick the professor, the tutor, whomever it is that is offering that class. And it could be live, or it could be on an e-learning platform like Cirrus, where you're getting the nuggets of information, and you can actually do an assessment for your child to identify what opportunities they'd like to improve. And I personally, we have a list of 131 career-related skills that your student may be interested in learning more about. And so this is another consideration, because guess how many skills they're teaching in high school about careers?
Not that many.
Yeah. It's really small. Okay, I can take an accounting course, and I could take a business law course, but these are electives. These aren't requirements. You're doing your social studies, you're doing your math, you're doing your English, you're doing your science. Certainly science can be, but how, on a percentage basis, how many students go into biology or chemistry or physics? It's small. It's a small percentage. So that's something to consider. Looks like we've got lots of.
We do. We got a lot of chatter going on here in the chat. So we want to welcome our guests here, and big shout out, especially to Barry, for offering this comment. And they're right. They said, instead of just maybe suggesting, oh, okay, hey, ChatGPT, give me 5 lessons because I'm going to go and do this after school for 1 week and commit to that. That's my bite-sized commitment, right? My toe dip. And Barry suggests, try to incorporate their interests. And I really like that idea. So you could write the generative AI model and say, my child likes, maybe your child likes science experiments. Maybe your child likes nature expeditions in the woods. Maybe they like building Legos. Maybe they like, whatever it is, right? There's going to be a bunch of things, and write those suggestions in and say, hey, generative AI tool, ChatGPT, whatever you are, create 5 15-minute bite-sized lessons, including talking points and an exercise to reinforce the lesson based on my child's interests, which are blah, blah, blah. That's, I think, really, really a great idea. All right, we got another comment here. Let's see. So yeah, exactly. Bingo, bingo, right? We got it, Barry. Woo! It's nice when we get it right. So we've got that. And I lost an earring in the middle there. I was a little too excited, I guess, when I cheered. So I'm earringed again. So then step 3, back to me. You have to review anything that a generative AI tool says. I know that seems simple, and you think, well, generative AI is probably smarter than me because it read how many, whatever, exabytes of content, and it probably put it all together a lot faster than any one of us could as mere mortals and humans. But review it, see that it makes sense. And then, you want to really step up your game? Go to a generative AI tool like Design Image, or even Canva has some AI built into it now, and create some characters, cartoon characters or whatever, images that are relevant to your child's interests and your child's age group. Ooh, now you're starting to put a little bit of visualization into it and making it a little more interesting, right? Phil, you're step 4.
Hold on, but what another wonderful opportunity is to engage them in this process.
Ooh,
right? Show them how it's done, and then they can also do it and you're guiding them and showing the tools that you know how to use. And now you're showing them, hey, let's do this together, a collaborative effort, and let's figure out what the next lessons are going to be for the coming week. So they're getting some planning steps, and they're working on a plan for their development, and it doesn't have to be career related. It could absolutely be socially related, and social emotional learning is definitely something that you'd want your loved one to be exposed to. So you don't always have to go down the academic lanes. You can do lots of different fun topics that are important in life, and you can do scenarios too, uh, with debating topics, and that's always a good critical thinking activity for your kids. So the it's unlimited on what you can do. And I guess one of the messages that I really want to share is that this is a team effort with your son or daughter. And you are showing them that being a student for life and the eagerness of ways we learn is unbelievably exciting, instead of just being in that classroom and being forced to take courses that they may not be interested in. And it can be torture for kids. And I know I experienced that, and I wasn't happy. And but I was in a in this discipline of dictatorship in the world of high school. And so and this is America, freedom of choice. So if you want to do the parent schooling, again, what Laura Lynn said, bite size, start small. You'll see the excitement from your loved one when they're learning something they want to learn.
That's right. And so step 5, because that's my turn, right? And I'm all about change management. And so one of the things that you are employing is one of the tactics of change management by involving your child in the co-creation process, because that's more likely to get them motivated to participate. And then in the interest of process improvement, which goes hand in hand with change management, once you roll out the first couple of lessons, maybe 1 or 2, go back to the drawing board and say, oh, okay, we saw the reactions, what worked, what didn't work, and go refine it and learn how to improve the lessons. That's what I would suggest. And then that way, you are driving that continuous improvement, and you're emphasizing the need for continuous learning. And Phil, do you have a step 6? If not, I do.
So if possible, if you can team up with other children and or other students who are also eager to learn and understand the same same interests that your son or daughter has, that would be outstanding, because they can definitely learn from each other. They could do team exercises instead of limiting it just to one-on-one. And certainly you could also, you'd love to have that subject that they really are engaged in. And you can go to the hilt on that, where they're becoming an expert. In fact, you're giving them lessons to do presentations to others because they're passionate about it, they're interested in it. And this is the question for the parent is, are you eager to get involved in your child's education? Because it's not hard. We grab those children's books, we're excited to read to our kids, and then what happens?
We donate the books.
We donate the books, and we fall off the
Get
chart.
tired of them. It's like, yeah, I've read that 100 times. All right, next, Yeah.
Now we're talking about cleaning their room, doing their chores, and it's not necessarily a formal kind of education with parents that have the kids that are in 5th grade, 6th grade. It kind of breaks off with that learning, and then of course you're teaching them maybe at the kitchen table, maybe they're just learning from their cell phones. But this is an opportunity to engage in educating them with great knowledge and utilizing technology, as well as other teachers and educators and other students to be excited about learning. Thank you.
All right, I think this might be the last step in this, because I think we've pushed this. This is good. Step 7, Helpopedia has a hub for help. It is an e-learning platform, and we are eager to share content with other people who are interested in learning, other parents, other educators who want to share their content, either for a fee or free, right? You can go either way. We can set that up in our platform so that we start really building this out. And people that come up with interesting content, especially if it's co-created with one of their kiddos, it's kind of kid tested, in that way, contact us. Let's get that content out there. And if you're an educator, an instructional designer, course creator, something along those lines, and you do this for a living, hey, no problem. And you want to charge for your time? We get that. Let's get you listed in there. We can set you up and we can have your content featured so that we can promote it on our social channels and get people downloading and buying your content. More importantly, using your content so that it has a positive impact on other folks. Anything else, Phil, before we wrap up here in the next minute or so?
I'm just excited for the parent to consider this and start. So I'd be excited to work with them and or provide some feedback for them.
Awesome. So with that, this is another wrap of Help Talk, focusing this time on innovative schooling and offering you 7 tips live in real time. We didn't even really, we worked a little bit beforehand, but not to this level. So this was good. This was great dynamic collaboration on demand in real time. And this is what really is the ethos of Helpopedia. We are here to help you, your children, our communities. Contact us, Phil Vitrano, Laurelyn Mears. Find us pretty much everywhere and anywhere on social. And I'm sure, I know I've been doxxed, so my contact information is everywhere, including the dark web. So you can easily find me and Phil. We appreciate your participation here today and look forward to seeing you same time next week on Help Talk.